What's up YouTube? I just wanted to make a quick unboxing video for my WWF World Heavyweight Championship Winged Eagle replica belt. I ordered this from AJSbelts.com. I ordered it on a Thursday and it actually got here by Tuesday. I chose the free shipping option, so I only paid $2.99 for it, and it was the cheapest place I could find it. Relative to other places that sold it, as well as YouTube. So let me get right to the belt. This is the back of the belt. I can tell you right now that the leather feels really good. It doesn't feel flimsy or cheap. And let me also say right off the bat that this belt has not been re-leathered. It is the leather that comes with the regular replica belts. I know that there's a lot of people on YouTube that have re-leathered their belts, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure it can be very pricey, and it looks really nice when they re-leather it. But for me, this is sufficient. There's one of the reasons why I think they get it re-leathered is because of one problem, if you want to call it a problem, that I'll show you in a second here. But on the back, like I said, the leather feels good. The screws and the buttons, they don't feel cheap or flimsy. And as you can see, that's the back, the centerpiece right here. That's the WWE logo. And let me go ahead and turn this bad boy around. So there you go. Now, as some of you might remember, I've been following the WWF since the 1980s. I actually grew up on this stuff. This belt was held by the likes of Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, Andre the Giant, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, The Undertaker, although Stone Cold Steve Austin only had it for a very brief period. He won it at WrestleMania 14, and then they changed the belt the very next night on Raw. If I remember it correctly, the belt did make one short appearance again on Raw during a scene with The Undertaker. I've actually been trying to find that on YouTube, so if anybody has access to it, post it in the comments section. So as you can see, there's, oh, by the way, before I forget also, I have this autographed picture of Shawn Michaels, and he's got the, this is when he had the Winged Eagle belt as well. Let me get back to the belt here. As you can see, there is exceptional attention to detail. It has all of the original WWF logos on it, which is pretty cool. I would have been upset if it didn't. And, again, the leather looks good from the front as well. This is not re-leathered. One thing I want to point out before I forget as well, these bars on the side, they're on both sides. If you go back and look at some of the old school scenes where Bret Hart had this belt, these three bars were actually hanging off the belt. They weren't attached to the leather. Now, I don't know if that's because that was just the way it was, or if that had happened through wear and tear. But I just want to make that clear. On this belt, they are attached. I apologize if the lighting is not that great, but hopefully this gives you a sense of what the belt looks like. I also want to thank everyone on YouTube that has posted videos of their belts, because it actually helped me make my decision. As I mentioned, I've been watching WWF, WWE since I was a little kid. I grew up on this stuff, and back in the day, the best that you could get were those cheap foam belts, the replica belts, cheap foam replica belts, and it was a big deal to have even one of those. And the only way to get those was to actually go to one of the live events or to order it through their catalog, their magazine, because obviously back in the day there was no internet. And then for a while, these belts, I believe, were trademarked somehow, because the old school replicas didn't come out for a while. They've been out for a while now, but for a long time you couldn't get your hands on these. So to have one of those old school foam belts was a big deal. To have one of these is obviously a huge, huge step above. Out of all the belts that the WWF, WWE has ever had, I think this was the absolute best. In fact, I think all of the originals were the best. The original Tag Team, the original Intercontinental, and the original Winged Eagle. Because they look classy, they're not too big, they're not too small, they're not gaudy. I think that the more recent belts are quite ugly. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's fine. I think the spinner belt, for example, is probably, well, it is. It's not probably, it is the ugliest thing I've ever seen in terms of championship belts. In fact, I don't even watch WWE anymore. I stopped around 2010. I thought that their storylines were getting corny. I thought, you know that when a former real world cast member is your world champion and main eventing WrestleMania, there's something wrong with that. Again, that's just my opinion. If you still watch it, that's cool, that's fine. But I'm not a huge John Cena fan, and again, I think their storylines have, taken a hit. In fact, I think ever since the Attitude Era ended, they sort of have been downhill since then. But anyways, talking out loud now, or thinking out loud. So I think that pretty much covers it as far as the belt. Oh, let me just, before I forget, they say that the belt is supposed to weigh 5 pounds, and it feels right around 5 pounds, no more, no less. And as far as that leather issue that I was telling you about, I think this is the reason why people choose to get theirs re-leathered, or one of the reasons, is because when you go like this, and if I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, but when you go like this, the belt should sit all the way down, but it doesn't. It basically stands on itself. So you have this space right here, and the belt doesn't sit. Now that may be because of the leather, or that may be because it needs to be broken in, or a combination of both, I'm not sure. But for me, that's not a big enough issue where I would have to, spend the money to get it re-leathered. And that's basically it. Again, I apologize if the lighting was bad. If you have any questions about the belt, please leave them in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it's been informative. And again, I did this basically because the videos that were posted before on YouTube were a tremendous help. So I hope you've enjoyed. Take care.